Alright, Chris here, and in this video I'm just going to go over some conversation tips when you are texting seller leads in Hivemind. These are kind of some of the things that I like to stick to. Me and my VAs, we pretty much stick to these rules whenever we are texting people in Hivemind. And you can change it up, you can use it. You can use whatever you want to use, but just keep it simple. I would say, talk to your seller as if they are a friend. So that's overall the rule that we like to use whenever we're texting. So here's sort of some of the things that we do when we are texting all of these seller leads in Hivemind. So first thing is keep things informal. So no sir, no ma'am. Talk to them as if they are your friend. Don't say sir unless it's, somebody that's older, obviously, and you want to treat them with respect. But for the most part, we just say yes, sir. We don't say yes, sir, or ma'am in any way. We just say, we just treat them as our friend. If anything, just use their first name. Second thing is feel free to use emojis. Feel free to use smiley faces. Just text them, as if you would your own friends. So smiley faces, thumbs up, LOLs, anything is fine. Just let them know, that'll let them know you have a personality and a sense of humor. Again, we are just their old friends. So that's one of the things that we like to use if ever we can, especially if they do it first, if they're kind of acting silly. And that's the next one here. If they say something silly, you can say something silly too. So mirror their reactions and tone. So you want to kind of mirror, even though, you're not talking over the phone with them, you're kind of just talking in text message. The main thing you want to do is kind of try to mirror, what they're saying to you whenever you are texting back and forth. Next thing is delete and move on to the next seller if they're wasting your time. We got so many leads that we're reaching out to a day. We don't have time to just, keep pestering them if they are being rude and if they are not actual sellers. So if they are wasting your time, move on to the next seller. If you're not sure, please ask, just ask your person that is working with you, or ask for help from somebody else who is a little more experienced if you're not sure. Next thing is only use your first name in text conversations. Feel free to use an alias like Mike Davis or Sarah Allen, any name you want. Just use, you can use the alias. There's no reason to use your full real names until initially, especially if you're just starting to text people. Until you know them better, and we know they are ready to sell at a good price. So, if you're texting a seller and they ask your full name and, they want more information about your company and they want this, is a lot of times the reason I found is that if they're too nosy, they're just wanting to report us and wanting to, treat us like spam. And we're actual buyers. We're actually, going out there and buying properties, and we can't afford to be spammed and, put on the do not call list and all that just because of one bad seller lead. So just keep it simple. Feel free to use alias. I just use my first name, Chris, whenever I'm texting these sellers. Another thing is always feel free to let the seller know that you have to ask for approval from your acquisitions manager. So if you're a VA or if you're somebody that's working under somebody else, just let them know you got to get approval before you can give them a price. So especially a lot of times they want a price, you'll text them the first time and they just say, make me an offer price. We can't always just give them an offer price right back. We have to make sure we get all the information that we need in order to make an educated price. We can't just pull a price out of our heads. The reason for that is we're actually gonna get these properties over to somebody who is actually gonna buy it. So we need to make sure we are making an educated estimate on doing our research before we actually give them an offer price. So don't let the seller, so going along with that, do not let the seller push you into giving an offer, especially if they're, just saying, make me an offer, offer this, ask them more probing questions, just trying to get the reason out of them why they need to sell. And that'll let you know if they are actually motivated. So just keep in mind, there's plenty of leads out there. We do not work with consistently rude people. So, if they keep asking you one thing and they're being rude to you, just move on, to the next one and keep it moving. A good way to say this is I will see if I can get approval for that price from my manager, and I'll let you know. So most of the time they'll be okay with that if they just, if they're pushing you and you just let them know you have to get approval. It's kind of like, whenever if you're selling a car or something like that. If you're a car salesman, same thing. You have to get approval from your manager. You can't just approve anything, especially if it's not at a discount. If they want to, actual retail price, that's not going to be, we're not going to be able to do that. We have to buy at a discount. So that's the next one here. We only buy at a discount. We need to make at least $5,000 on any transaction that we do. So we can't afford to, overbid and overpay for these properties, lands, these land deals, these houses, anything we do, we can't afford to overbid on these properties, because what's going to happen is once we end up bidding and offering on the property, put it under contract, if we get it for too much, we're not going to be able to sell it. We're not going to be able to assign it to our end buyer or our builder. So, we want to make sure we buy it at a good price so we don't have to back out of the deal, and we don't have to, addend the contract and go back to the seller and say, oh yeah, we ended up buying it for too much or putting under contract for too much. So it would be okay if we lower the price for you. They're not going to go for that a lot of times. So you want to make sure that you don't waste your time and you don't waste their time. So next one is always start your initial offer lower than our maximum allowable offer. Because 99% of the time I've found that, if a seller is going to they're going to counter your offer any way it goes. So, it's just psychology. So for example, if you're saying, okay, hey, this apple over here is worth $10, but I'll give you $8. They're automatically going to say, yeah, I want $9 for it. So they're always going to counter your offer. It's just something about making offers to people. If you give them one price, they're always going to try to get a little more out of you. So that's one of the things you have to keep in mind. So next thing is feel free to ask how they are doing or how is the seller's day, etc. Because it's basically it's a regular conversation. Just make sure you're having a regular conversation with these people. You're not a robot. You're not just somebody that's coming off the street, just talking to them randomly. You're an actual buyer. You're an actual educated investor that, is talking to them like a real person. Even though it's text message, once again, even though you're texting these people and not actually talking on the phone, you still want to let them know. You still want to let them know that you actually are there for them. You actually are talking like a regular person. So ask them how they're doing. Ask them how their day's going. Ask them how their dog is, whatever it is. Keep it simple, but, it doesn't hurt to ask a couple questions to let them know that you're actually a real person. So, they're real people just like us. So just think of how you would like to be texted. If you get a text out of blue, I'm sure if you guys own property or you guys own things, you get text all the time. I know I get text on a couple properties all the time on, they say stuff like, hey, would you like to sell your property on 123 Main Street? And that's it. But, if I text back, then they're just pretty straightforward and it's kind of boring. So last thing you want to be is you don't want to be just another boring person that's texting them, like all the other people. You want to kind of stand out. And that's just another way, use your personality to stand out. Ask them how they're doing. Ask them, just ask them a couple different things that separate you, just like the emojis that separate you from other people. So next thing is ask probing questions to slow the conversation down. So we like to ask educated questions to let the seller know we are real buyers who need real answers before we make an offer. So educated examples are stuff like questions like, do you know if there are any utilities on the property? So this is for land deals specifically, but same thing for houses. You want to ask even more questions with houses. You want to ask things like, do you know if there's any taxes owed? Do you know if there are any liens on the property? How quickly would you like to sell? So this answers two questions for you. It answers, it gives you more idea about their situation, especially if you know if it's a specific list you're targeting, like say a tax list or a probate list. You're trying to. You sometimes may already know the answer, but you're trying to get them to say the answer too. So it just lets you know that it just lets them know that you're trying to get more information. So the main point of this one is to let them know you're trying to get more information so you can make an educated question about you can make an educated offer on the property and not just any old offer that you may have to back out of later. So find out things like, when do they want to sell? Why would they sell such a beautiful property? Especially if it's in a nice city that's a lot of people are moving to. Why do they want to sell? Why would they want to sell? Maybe they are motivated. The main thing is you're trying to find out if they are motivated. So motivated people sell for convenience. They don't sell for any other reason than that. Sometimes they just want to sell it quickly. They know they're not going to build on it. If it's a land deal, if it's a vacant land infill lot, they know they're not going to build on it, so they just want to sell it. So just try to find out a couple more questions. It doesn't hurt to ask. And next one is always end your statement with another question. This will keep the conversation going. So don't just answer their question. Make sure you ask another question on top of it to keep the conversation going. Because just like when you're texting your friends, if you just say a statement, they're not going to keep the conversation going. They're going to go on about their day. But if you ask another question, of course, they're going to keep the conversation going. That's what we want. We want to keep the people talking. We want to keep it going. Keep the negotiation. Keep the talking going. So next one is a ghosting tip. If a seller lead does not respond, but they were a good lead, schedule to follow up with them in 2 days or less from the last text. So, if you were going along with the seller and they were talking good with you, and you were kind of getting on the same page with the price and everything like that, but all of a sudden they stopped texting you. And you texted and you're kind of waiting for a response. You didn't get a response. Wait a day or two and then just text them again. Just pick it up where you left off, and keep it going. So that's it. Don't just give up on these people. The money's in the follow up, they always say. So just follow up with them. I like to follow up at least 2 or 3 times, before we just give up. And then even after that, we text from a different number, with somebody else. We'll try a hand at it. So especially if it's a warm lead, you can't just let the warm or hot leads go. You want to make sure you do everything to follow up with these people, because a lot of times, if they're ghosting you, it may not even be that they don't want to text. They may just have something that came up in their lives that day, and then they have to deal with something else. So it may not even be on you. So just don't take it personal. Just follow up in a couple days. An easy way to follow up with a seller you haven't texted in a while, but we have made an offer to, is by simply saying, and Anthony and Baskar were saying this in the Hivemind group the other day. They were saying, just say something like, "Have you sold a property yet? Hey, have you sold a property yet?" Or just simply, "Have you sold a property yet?" Especially if it's been a couple months and you made them an offer and they were like, no. Say, for example, you said, I'll buy your property for $20,000, and they said, no, I need at least $35,000. Shoot, sometimes a couple months later, things might have changed. They may end up needing that $20,000 after all. So just ask them if they sold the property yet. A lot of times, they will come around to your price. And that's all. Don't say any more. Just say, "Have you sold the property yet?" The reason for this is most people will feel compelled to answer such a simple question. So it's an easy question. They don't really feel obligated to have to answer anything else, but they are responding to you. So that'll let you know that you can keep the conversation going. So, and another good way is to follow up with is to say, hey, just checking in, or hey, just following up. Just lets them know that you're interested in the property. We have a lot of buyers that check in and see if we have any other properties, and they say the same thing. They just text by saying, hey, just checking in to see if you have anything else new this week. Just checking in to see what you got, what's going on. So do the same thing with your sellers. Just check in with them. Just put it on your put it on your calendar to follow up, or even automate it. Even easier in Hivemind, you can just automate it to check in with them every couple months or every couple weeks. Until the property's sold. So I'm saying all that to say, do not, and I put this in caps, so, you can see the serious of it and all that. Yeah, but do not stop following up until they say the property is sold or they tell you to go away. So as a good rule, a good rule is if you get no response, follow up at least 3 times before letting the lead go cold. So, it doesn't hurt. They doesn't hurt anything, especially in text message. It's not really as personal as phone calls, so you don't have to feel the rejection like you would over the phone. Even though, either way, I don't care. As long as you just tell me. As long as if you don't tell me to stop contacting you, I'm not gonna stop texting you or bugging you until I know the property is sold. And that's just the name of the game in follow up. So next one is, if a seller lead tells you to stop contacting them, or they say they are not interested, always select the contact as do not disturb and delete the conversation. We don't want any legal trouble. So, if they do say to stop contacting or they don't want to be contacted, go ahead and take them out. Don't waste your time. And like I said, don't waste their time, and don't waste your time. And take them out and move on to the next one. We got too many people that are out there, that are actually willing to sell properties. So go ahead and take them out and keep it moving. We do not use our legal name. Next one is, we do not use our legal company name by text until it's time to sign the contract. So you may use text for offer as our name. And, so this is just our marketing name. So you can use whatever name it is. If you have a marketing, I would suggest, using a marketing name for your company until it's time to actually sign the contract. So just have like a go-to name in mind whenever you are going to text, whenever you're going to text somebody. So you can use names. We buy land in Florida, so we just use general names such as Florida land buyers or Florida land investors, or I just put some more in here. Florida builders, text for offer builders, Florida buys land, Florida land investors, American land buyers, just something like that. Just keep it simple. But whatever you do, I wouldn't personally, it might just be me, but I wouldn't put my, full real name, my company, just for legal actions, and just to avoid spam or anything to get on a bad list if something does happen. All right, so text for offer is our marketing name if anybody asks who we are. So, like I was saying, I would suggest using an actual marketing name separate from your company name. So if anybody asks who you are, we're just text for offer. That's it. We just text people, we just make offers. That's it. That's all it is to it. It's separate from our company name. It has nothing to do with our company. So if they do try to look for text for offer, they're not going to find our company. Textforoffer.com is our website. If they ask for our website, our main, and give them easy ways to build trust, to build rapport with you. So if they want to know more information about your company, they may actually be a real seller. They may actually want to sell, and they may actually just want more to know more about your company before they do business with you. So, go ahead and if you have a website, give them your website. If you have a phone number, our main contact phone number, if they do want to call us, that's our main number. And you can get an easy way to do it is just get a Google Voice number. That's our Google Voice Florida number right there. So if anybody wants to call us, they can call us. They can text us. We're there anytime. So if a seller mentions a phone call, or they would rather call than text, please call them and or please ask them a good time to call. Just don't just waste a lead if you're kind of nervous about talking on the actual phone. But go ahead and call them. Go ahead and ask them when a good time to call is. All you're doing is asking about their land. You just asking them if they want to sell, especially if they're motivated. Don't let the lead slip away just because it's a phone call away. And if next one is if and when a seller. If and when you call a seller and get a voicemail, I can't read all of a sudden. If and when you call a seller and get a voicemail, please send a follow-up text letting them know you called. So, if you're talking to a seller and then they say, please give me a call, and then you call them and they don't answer the phone, go ahead and send them another text. At this point, I'd rather just send another text rather than leave a voicemail because, what are you going to check more often, your voicemail or your text? You might say both. You can probably leave both, but the main thing is I would just text them again, letting them know you call in case they missed the call. So that's pretty much it. That's just some common text tips, text conversation tips that we like to use in our business whenever we're dealing with land deals. But again, you can use this for house deals, pretty much any kind of wholesaling deals that you are dealing with. So just keep it simple. Main thing I would say is, keep talking to the seller leads or the buyer leads, whoever you're talking to, just talk to them as a friend. It's a relationship business. So, you have to build trust. You have to build rapport. You have to get to the bottom of why they are trying to sell. So that's it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Signing out.